If you learned about lipids before, you probably associate them with fats. And yes, fats are lipids. But what if I say that waxes, phospholipids and steroids are also lipids, just like fat? It is fascinating for you, right? Well, actually, you need to know that lipids are more than just fats, and they are pretty diverse in terms of forms and functions. Hi, I'm Asyikin. In this video, we'll be focusing on chapter 4 in the subtopic of 4.4 lipids. So now, let's get to know the general characteristics of lipids. Lipids are made of elements, carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, but their proportion is different. There is always a high proportion of hydrogen atoms with a small proportion of oxygen atoms. Another characteristic that make all lipids are similar is they are insoluble in water. This is why all separates out from water when you mix, but lipids are soluble in other organic solvents such as alcohol, ether, and chloroform. As mentioned earlier, there are 4 types of lipids, includes fats, waxes, phospholipids, and steroids. Let's talk about fats first. The importance of fats in cells, including as energy reservation for animals. In addition, fats are a liner to protect internal organs and act as a heat insulator for animals. Fats and also oils are triglycerides. Triglycerides are a type of ester formed from the chemical reaction of an alcohol with a carboxylic acid. So now let's have a look on the components of triglycerides. Glycerol is a type of 3-carbon alcohol that contains 3 hydroxyl groups. Meanwhile, fatty acids contain a carboxyl group. Now, it makes sense, right, that why triglyceride is a type of ester. So, how triglyceride form? And is it possible to break down a triglyceride? The formation of a triglyceride is from the condensation reaction of 1 glycerol molecule with 3 molecules of fatty acids. Triglyceride can also be broken down into fatty acids and glycerol by hydrolysis reaction. Let's take a quick look at the fatty acids. There are 2 types of fatty acids, namely saturated fatty acids and unsaturated fatty acids. They might be different in some aspects, but they share something in common. The saturated and unsaturated fats consist of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen elements. Both also contain glycerol and fatty acids. Lastly, both contain non-polar molecules. Let's compare between saturated fats and unsaturated fats. Saturated fats such as butter and animal fat that exist in solid form at room temperature. The fatty acids only have single bonds between carbon. Hence, saturated fats cannot form chemical bonds with additional hydrogen atoms because all bonds between carbon atoms are saturated. Next, the unsaturated fats, which can be found in liquid form at room temperature. For example, olive oil and fish oil. The fatty acids have at least 1 double bond between carbon. The double bonds can still receive 1 or more additional hydrogen atoms because carbon atoms are unsaturated. Here is a table shows the similarities and differences between saturated and unsaturated fats. So, which fats that we need to consume more or less? It is advisable for you to reduce the intake of food high in saturated fats in your daily meals, such as butter, fatty meat, full cream dairy products, santan-based foods, and coconut oil. Excessive intake of saturated fats increases the risk of cardiovascular diseases. Next is wax. Wax contains 1 molecule of alcohol that combines with another molecule of fatty acid. Waxes are found on the cuticles of epidermis of leaves, fruits, and seeds of some plants. They are waterproof, thus preventing the entry and evaporation of water. Moreover, sebum that is excreted from all glands contain wax that soften our skin. Well, I'm pretty sure everyone is familiar with this next type of lipid, which are phospholipids. Have you ever heard the word of phospholipids? Do you still remember in chapter 2, you have learned that each cell is enclosed in a thin plasma membrane which separates the living cell from its environment. And the phospholipids are an important component in the formation of plasma membranes. Phospholipids are made up of 1 molecule glycerol that combines with 2 molecules of fatty acids and 1 group of phosphate. Finally, let's not forget about steroids. Take note that steroids do not contain fatty acids, unlike the other types of lipids. You probably think of the steroids that were consumed by the bodybuilder or athletes to build muscles, right? But that is a synthetic steroid. But in this video, I will just focus on the natural steroids. Steroids are complex organic compounds which includes hormones such as testosterone, estrogen and progesterone, and also cholesterol, which is important in steroid hormone synthesis. We have come to the end of the video. Lipids are a large and diverse group of naturally occurring organic compounds composed of elements carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. They're related by their solubility in non-polar organic solvents and general insolubility in water. Remember, lipids are more than just fats, and fats are more than just the excess weight we gain as we make poor diet choices. Well, it's not how much fat you eat, it's about what kind of fat. In fact, wax, phospholipids, steroids are also lipids, just like fats. And not to forget the importance of lipids in cells. I hope that you gain some overview of lipids. And thanks for watching.